Hello, my potential listeners. Welcome to another episode of this thing we call a potential podcast with Tracy Lee. This is episode 8 if you count the trailer, and 7 if you don't. Thank you for coming back. This week, we're talking about an interesting part of the podcasting world. They kind of do what I do, but not really. I call them the watch-along pods. This genre of podcasts is where hosts are watching something and kind of reviewing the content post, or in some cases, actually setting up the podcast so you can watch it with them. In the case of one of my podcast contenders today. I was first drawn to this genre not because I love a review. See what I did there? But it's fun hearing people's reactions to things that you're watching, especially if those reactions are the same as your own. I think this is one of the reasons they do so well on YouTube. But let's go on ahead and chat contenders. First, we've got to talk about one of the most watch-along of the watch-along pods, in my personal opinion, which is two idiots talking over stuff. This podcast literally has episodes where the hosts themselves watch whatever it is with you. So they tell you when to press play at the beginning, and they provide you with commentary as you watch the movie or whatever it is with them. It's kind of like watching a movie with your professionally funny friends. Jesse Stillwell and Felicia Scambari are two friends who, as the description says, started watching things together and then decided to record it. It's really trippy, if I'm honest. I thought that I would just listen to an episode, but then I discovered that they legit want you to watch it with them. The format luckily isn't just the 2 hours of you guys watching things together. They do also do episodes where they chat about shows and movies that they've watched and chat about themselves. These episodes are like the regular 1 hour length that we're used to with podcasts. The cool thing is they post every Wednesday and Friday, which means that you have quite a bit of content to choose from. I like this for them, if I'm honest, and I wouldn't hate it for myself one day. So yeah, you have quite a bit to choose from their platform. Honestly, I haven't really gotten into a lot of their stuff as much as my other contender, but I do like the idea, so I had to give it a shout out. You'll also like this podcast if you like company watching something, as I mentioned before, and you like having people's opinions on shows. It may not really do very well with those who like to watch things without being interrupted or are not a fan of spoilers, but I like to watch things with people, which means that it tickles my fancy and that format just works for me. Next up to the plate, we have a pod that found me leftwise when I was just trolling through Spotify looking for nothing special. But man, oh man, did the algorithm do what they needed to do there by Spotify. Hopefully that they can do the same thing for me, Mr. Spotify. So thank you. Anyway, so the podcast is Newcomers. This podcast is more of a watch and provide your review format of the watch along pod, but it is hilarious. I mean, funny. It is hosted by Lauren Lapkus and Nicole Byer, two great actresses and comedians. These two ladies realize that there's a lot of movies and TV shows that the world is obsessed with that they've never watched and are new to. Hence the name of the podcast. The best part of this whole thing is experiencing what has been a big cultural phenomenon through the perspective of two people who have no idea. Despite the fact that they're famous, which is just odd. But anyway, they've taken to watching a lot of movie franchises, which is quite nice because you can pick the franchise you want to listen to them comment on. The series on the real MCU, which is the Medea cinematic universe, is gold. They're new to Tyler Perry movies, but their reactions are just if you listen to nothing else, just give this series a shot because I laughed. I tee-hee-heed, as Nicole would say. They've created the podcast in seasons, but when there is a season, there's an episode every week. Also, an added bonus is they invite their comedian and showbiz friends to pop in and provide context on their experiences of the franchise that they're currently watching. Sometimes these people have actually worked on it or been in it or have just been a fan for a really long time, so it's really cool. Why you would love the pod? I mean, I've been complimenting it for the past I don't know how many minutes, but anyway, honestly, I think you would love this because, as we know, I love me a comedy pod, but this one will really make you laugh. Also, it'll make you appreciate some of your favorite TV shows and series a little bit more. I went back and watched There's a show that Tyler Perry came up with about a cult. It's just good. And I watched it because of how hard they made me laugh. So I went back and watched that. And honestly, there's a couple things I rewatched just thinking about their commentary. So it just goes to show. I don't think you would like it as much. But this applies to both podcasts if you're not a fan of crass jokes and language. But these guys will lose you if that's something that really just rubs you up the wrong way. But honestly, once you get past that, they really are just so funny and just worth a listen, if I'm honest. I love just hearing people's thoughts on things. So look, I was in. But yeah, guys, just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we finished another review. There's something big coming up on the horizon, everybody. Get very, 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 very excited. But for now, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, whatever the fluencers say to tell people to do. So that I'm just not a weirdo in a bonnet sitting in a room talking to herself alone. So yeah, please do all the things that the people say you must do. Anyway, my APP crew, this has been a Potential Podcast with Tracy Lee. Thank you so much for listening. I pray that this podcast and I live up to our potential. Okay, love you. Kisses. Mwah.